Okay, let's take a step back here.
We're going to cut to the inside of it is in fact a ship. Cacophony, you see Alana very expertly navigate up onto the deck, open a hatch, and drop down inside.
Oh, I assume this is her ship, darlings. She does know how to open it, rather like someone who is very used to it.
Okay, do you follow her down?
I absolutely do.
That doesn't explain what it is or why it is.
In fact, when I follow her down, I want to do a dramatic jump, like a superhero jump, and land with with 2 legs up and my both hands on the ground. It's very attractive.
What? Roll an acrobatics check.
You got it. I do not do very well.
What was it?
No, I got a 15. That's fine. It was up high, and I just saw the 8 of Juliana's ceiling.
15, you managed to do the cool superhero landing.
Excellent.
Not fall on your ass. Well done. You basically had to not roll a 1.
Excellent. My cape flutters behind me.
So, on the inside, this does very much look like a nautical ship. You see Alana move to the back at first, which appears to be some sort of cargo bay, look around, appears to be checking for something, then heads towards the bow of the ship down a narrow hallway, sort of knocking on doors as she goes, peeking in. She reaches the door at the end of the hall, goes inside, and appears to climb up into another hatch.
I follow her every step of the way.
What is going on here?
Speaking of Juliana and Alviva, have you made your way into the ship as well?
I mean, for lack of anything better to do, I guess.
Well, we can't be much help out here, I'm sure.
I don't understand what we're looking at.
I'm sure it will all make sense eventually.
You're not in this room.
No, I'm not. I can hear, you can hear me in your head saying that. I am the little devil on your shoulder going, oh, whatever.
Oh, get out
This is terrible. I don't want this.
One of us should stay outside and keep watch. Do you want to do that, Juliana?
Yeah, this is really kind of freaking me out a little, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, then you stand watch and I will follow them in.
Okay.
Alviva, it doesn't take you long to catch up with Cacophony. You see Cacophony looking up into it. She appears to be standing in what appears to be a rec room of some kind, but she's looking up into a hatch that you're guessing Alana has just gone up through.
Okay.
I'm going to leap up and try to climb up the hatch.
Okay. There is a ladder, unless you want to do the leap.
I will use the ladder, I suppose. In a very attractive way, of course. I should note that even though it doesn't look like I'm wearing a corset or anything that's supporting my bosom, it somehow has not moved immaculately during every maneuver I've done.
Okay, so Alviva, you see a Cacophony, as though performing for an audience that isn't there, attempt to sexily climb up the ladder and in through the hatch.
Yes, the audience is all in her head.
You never know who's watching.
Google Earth, always taking pics.
Exactly.
Okay. And once she's up there, before I embark on the ladder, I call up and say, "What do you see? Is it safe?"
Cacophony, you look over, and this is a rather large open room. The bow of the ship appears to have 2 glass windows, almost in the shape of eyes, looking out ahead. But you see a very large, very ornately carved chair, and sitting in it is the dead body of an elf.
There's a dead person up here.
And Alana is currently rushing over to, she knows he's dead, but she is still, almost futilely rushing forward to check to see if she can do anything at all. She is sort of turning his head from side to side and muttering to herself, "Oh, Captain, what did you do?"
I will finish my climbing up and move over with her.
Okay.
And just kind of look around to see if there's any identification marks or anything that, obviously he is dead. I do not have any reviving spells.
You do not.
So I mostly just get up there, look very serious, and flounce around uselessly.
Okay.
I'm having trouble holding serious and flouncing in my head at the same time.
Well, it's cacophony, and it's cacophony. So flouncing is about as serious as she can get.
Oof.
But she is trying.
So, Alviva, I'm assuming when you hear what do you do when you hear there's a dead body up here?
Yeah, well, if it's dead, it's obviously not a danger, so I continue my climb up the ladder.
Okay, you see, as just described, a dead elf in this very ornately carved chair, and Alana just sort of, at this point, she has stopped touching him for the most part, but she is sort of stepping back and very visibly contemplating something.
My dear, I'm not sure where you're from or where your friend is from, but we can see to a proper funeral of whatever kind he would desire.
He would prefer a burial in the void, but we'll see to that later. She's kind of caught up, and as she's sort of like tripping over her own thoughts, Alviva, you look over at this body and you see this guy is wearing the elf in the chair. He's wearing a pendant. It is an insignia of a butterfly, and you recognize this.
Yeah, thought so. And I lean close to look at it a little closer, and I say, the least we can do is say the Elvish prayer for the dead before we leave him and go on. But this symbol looks very familiar to me.
Okay, roll an intelligence check real quick.
2. Intelligence save. 2.
Okay.
I'm obviously not going to be much help here.
You recognize it. You don't know from where.
Yes, exactly.
You just know that you know it.
Perhaps something from my childhood.
But yeah, at that point, Alana says, "All right, the captain's quarters will have we'll have the tracker for the other lifeboat. I need to get down there." And she heads back towards the hatch.
Of course. Would you want us to do anything particular for the body in the meanwhile?
I will say the prayer.
If you could get him to the cargo bay, that would be good.
Of course. I don't know where that is, but we will find it.
It's the back of the ship, and she heads back down the hatch and back down the hall to one of the rooms that she had knocked on the door of. And she tries the door, and she can't seem to get it open.
Okay, I peek down there. Would you like me to open that door for you?
Some help would be nice.
Alviva, dear, since you have a bit more arm strength than I do, could you perhaps carry him gently to the cargo bay?
Okay. I'm carrying a dead elf by myself.
Just dragging him down the hall the way he wanted to go.
I gently leap down and follow her, and I do pull out, I don't know if I have anything. I pull out some stuff and try picking the lock.
Okay, this would be a thieves' tools check.
I don't have those. I don't imagine if sleight of hand would help.
Stuff? What was some stuff?
I was thinking like I was one of those people.
If you want to pull out a hairpin, I can give you the check, but with disadvantage.
I'm fine with that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, do I have like a bobby pin that I can pull out? Because of course I do.
Okay, make a dexterity check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Because you're trying to pick a lock with a bobby pin.
Let's see how this goes. 23.
Holy shit,
Wow.
okay.
One hell of a bobby pin. It's about 8 inches long, right?
For the record, she rolled a 23 and a 25, folks. So, you, with a few deft twists of the bobby pin, managed to unlock the door. You turn the knob, open it, and as it opens, there is this rush of air from behind you, like the room itself had been a vacuum before you opened it. On the inside, you see it looks like a captain's quarters on a ship. There is a bed, there is a desk, there are some charts. There appears to be some kind of silver dish on the desk, and on the bed, you can see the enormous body of some kind of humanoid creature, easily 9 feet tall, encased in some kind of wood-like material. But as the fresh air rushes into the room, you see the material start to crack and split open.
My God, what is that thing?
What emerges from it is, there's no better way to describe this. This is a 9-foot-tall bipedal hippopotamus in a naval jacket.
Okay.
I stare at it. For a moment, I am actually speechless.
Yeah. And as the wood splits open, this hippo dude reacts immediately. He sits bolt upright and immediately rushes for the door towards you. And right before it looks like he's about to deliver like the worst haymaker you've experienced in your life, he stops and looks over at your shoulder and goes, "Ma'am," and then immediately stops and salutes Alana.
I look at Alana. Elena, I look back at the hippopotamus man. I look at Elena. I look back at the hippopotamus man. I look at Elena. Do you know this gentleman?
With that, Alana says, "Stand down, Mr. Hurst. It's fine. She's with me."
I am going to go get Juliana.
Alana's like, "That would be a good idea."
I flounce down the hallway.
So, Alviva, as you're sort of depositing this body in the cargo bay, you see Cacophony appear. Shortly behind Cacophony is Alana and an enormous hippopotamus dude. You've never seen a hippopotamus, so this guy looks extra alien to you.
Yeah. And I stand there and wonder and look at the three of them. I linger on this guy, this hippopotamus dude. I heave a heavy sigh and I say, "Of course." And then I look at them. I think we want to get Juliana.
That's what I am actually seeking to do. And I stick my head out and I go, Juliana, my love.
Don't say things like that. It's weird.
Of course, darling. Anyway, we are all in here, and it'd probably behoove you to join us. Also, there is a Mr. Hurst here. I believe he is quite unlike most people that you might have seen, at least as much as I have seen, and I have traveled all over the world, so I assume you're in the same state.
Well, that's kind of presumptuous of you.
At this point, Mr. Hurst turns to Alana and says, "Yo, is she always like this?" To which Alana's like, "Near as I can tell, yeah."
And Juliana is really encouraged to come in now. And Alviva looks and says, "It's okay. It's an acquired taste. You get used to her."
All right, Juliana stops pacing around the ship where she's basically started to wear a hole into the ground. And pokes her head in. All right, but I really think that we should probably keep an eye on things. There's supposed to be other adventuring parties in the woods, and I really just think this is...
Of course, darling.
Look at it this way. He's not a spider.
This is an improvement on my day.
At this point, Mr. Hurst again turns to Alana and says, Hey, are they in the dark? They're in the dark, aren't they? They don't know anything."
Good day, Mr. Hurst.
And Alana's like, "Yeah, I decided not to tell the groundlings about the crashed spaceship. That was I feel like that was a good call on my part, Mr. Hurst."
Juliana?
What?
What is a spaceship?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you traveled all over the world and I would know less than you.
I certainly have traveled all over the world, but you are studied in religious matters and I assume history. So one would assume that you know more about these sorts of things than I would.
What do you think religion is?
Things where you look up at the stars and ascribe meaning, of course. And you look up at space, so space and ships that are in them, I assume.
I don't know where to start, so I'm just going to ignore that. Because if I have to deal with explaining the basic idea of faith and God and the heavens and how they are and how heavens are not space, then we're going to be here all day, and I'm still trying to deal with a ship in the middle of a swamp and everything seeming awful. I have not been able to sleep lately, and now there is this, and groundlings, I don't know what that is, and some kind of
I do believe,
that
just to clarify, Juliana, the groundlings are us.
And makes my ears ring. I am not a fan of what is happening, and I cannot start with religion with you. Please look away from me right now. Hi. And then she snaps her head over to the strangers and says, "Can you just start from the beginning? I do not have time for this today."
By the way, Mr. Hurst, do allow me to introduce us. I am Cacophony, and this is Juliana, and this is Alviva.
And he just kind of gives you a little wave and says, "Hey."
Why are you using his name. You don't know him. We don't know them.
I heard his name from Elena, dear.
That is not even how you pronounce her name.
I'm changing how I pronounce her name with every pronunciation.
Yeah, Alana looks very tired, by the way. And then she turns to Hurst and says, this would be, by the way, why I didn't tell them.
Yeah, because I feel great now.
We've really challenged all of your thoughts and belief systems here, haven't we?
Mr. Hurst.
I had to deal with a lot of spiders this morning.
Mr. Hurst, pardon me, do you like wine or chocolate?
Ooh, I like chocolate.
I give him some of my chocolate.
Okay, he takes a bit of it, and it's like his hand is larger than your head. But he very daintily takes like a little piece of chocolate between his thumb and forefinger, and then just opens his enormous trap of a mouth, places it on its tongue, and then just closes it with an impact you feel could probably crush a skull.
Ooh, is it not delicious?
And as he's eating the chocolate, he's like, "So, long story short, we're from outer space."
I see.
No, I don't think you do. We're what?
No, they just said, Juliana, that they're from outer space, my dear.
Yeah, do you know what that means?
That means the sky.
Yeah, religion apparently is up there. What?
yes, that is right.
Alana looks like she's nursing like a little tension headache right between her eyes, and she's like,
Alana,
"Okay,
dear,
so
would you care for the last of the wine?"
I think that would be awesome, actually.
I used my fourth goblet. I don't know what happened to the other ones. I've just tossed them over my shoulder. I'm a litterer, I guess. And I pour the last of my wine and I present to
Juliana snatches it.
She's like, "Okay," so she points at the sky. "We're from up there.
All right.
We're in an altercation with another ship in the atmosphere above your planet. We both crashed, and now I'm trying to find the rest of the crew so we can get out of here."
I see. Well, of course we will help you with this.
Great. She's not sure how to feel about that, visibly.
Juliana slaps her hands on her head, rubs her temples. Evelyn knows that we are weak, and yet she asks for strength. Look at me, strength. What is happening?
At this point, Mr. Hurst appears to notice the body of the captain on the floor of the cargo bay, and
yeah, who is that?
That's the captain. Oh no!
Why is there a body on the floor? Did we just find this?
He was trying to land the ship, and I guess he couldn't. And Hurst is like visibly upset about this, and then he turns to Alana and says, "I guess that makes you the captain." And Alana's like, "Shit."
Well, so what of your other crew members? Who should we be searching for?
And Alana goes back to the captain's quarters and said, "There's another lifeboat. 2 lifeboats launched while we were crashing. We should be able to find the other one." There's loud clashing noises as she's messing with stuff in the captain's cabin.
Hold on, 2 lifeboats plus this?
I assume. She did say she was in the first one, so
yeah, I know. I'm doing math. So we only saw. Everyone's only been talking about 2. Yeah, 2 things falling from the sky.
Was the second thing a lifeboat, or was it the other ship that you said you were fighting? Do you happen to know, Mr. Hurst?
Well, the lifeboats are real small, so maybe the light wouldn't show up, but if you saw it too, it was probably like the Kestrel and the other ship.
I can't remember quite how close they were. I don't know if that would matter.
With any luck, the other ship is going to be real far away, because those guys suck.
Suck how?
Understood.
And it's at this point that Alana comes back and says, "Okay, I've got coordinates for the other lifeboat."
All right, shall we go off then?
She's like, at this point, she looks up at the sky, and it is like dark outside. It is nighttime, and she says, "I think we might have to wait till morning. I'm not sure we should be tramping through a spider-infested swamp in the middle of the night."
I suppose that makes quite a bit of sense.
Yeah, I'd really like to limit my spider encounters to once per day, if that's fine.
All right, so why don't we all just bunk down inside the ship for safety and wait till morning?
That sounds good. If we still do wish to keep a watch, if one of you would mind just watching for 4 hours, I can cover the rest of the night.
I don't think I'm going to sleep.
Mr. Hurst is like, yeah, I can keep watch.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hurst. You are quite a dear.
Oh, you're real nice, too.
Please enjoy the rest of my chocolate, and I give him the rest of my chocolate.
Okay, he immediately just puts the entire package in his mouth.
I'm pleased.
Good chocolate, he says with his mouth full.
Okay, so you guys are taking a long rest?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All your hit points are back up to maximum. All your spell slots are back. You didn't use any hit dice, so we're not going to worry about that. And any counters that reset after a long rest are reset, which at this point I think only applies to Alana.
That would technically also be my bardic inspiration, but I didn't use any, so whatever.
You did not use any.
Though I do need to see one thing. I am going to switch to spring. So by the time everybody wakes up the next day, I am of course already up and moving around because I only have to meditate for 4 hours.
When you relieve him on watch, you notice that in the cargo bay, he has carefully wrapped the captain's body and stored it off to the side where it should be safe and won't decompose too quickly.
Until they can put it into the void.
Cacophony, roll a perception check for me real quick.
You got it. Wake me up before you go.
Mackenzie.
Hanging on like a yo-yo.
Mackenzie.
17.
Okay. Good to know. So the rest of the watch passes without incident. The rest of
Mackenzie,
you guys
we do not have the rights to that song.
This is a mess. I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay, well, it's wake me up before the spiders show.
Oh my god. Do you have more lyrics to go along with that?
I will make them up.
Play in this space with me?
So it is a new day. As you're getting up, Mr. Hurst is kind of puttering around the ship. And as he sees all of you guys, he's like, so if you guys are going to find the lifeboat, I'm going to stay here and look after the ship because I think more people might be coming.
My dear Mr. Hurst, I think that is a grand idea.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try and fix her up a bit, too. Make sure she can fly a little better when we get the Helmsmaster back.
And if people do know you and they happen to see you, then I think that you would be a welcome face to see, whereas we would be unknowns to them. And if somebody doesn't know you and shows up to try and claim the ship, I think you would be a fearsome sight to see.
Oh, yeah, no, I got a shotgun and everything. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, are there two of them? There might be two of them.
Best friends.
Oh, no.
So Alana also gets up. She quickly stocks up on supplies from the ship, and that appears to be waiting for you guys.
All right, let's be off. Come on, Alviva, dear, come on.
I'm coming.
Oh, were you there silently the whole time?
Well, of course.
You are quite stealthy.
That's what I do.
Some of us can exist without talking all the time.
I'm a stealthy lurker. It's in my nature.
It says right there on her character sheet. Okay, so you guys head out. Alana appears to know where she's going. Before long, you do get out of the swamp, so yay for that. And you guys start heading up into the hills, which are a much drier and significantly colder as the altitude increases. By the end of the first day, you have not yet reached the lifeboat. It might be a good idea to camp for the night and then keep going the next morning.
Cacophony plays a song on her viol as they camp down for the night. She's notably probably been humming and quietly singing as they've been marching this whole time.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows.
Are we going to set a watch?
If someone else can take watch for the first 4 hours, I will take the rest of the watch.
Okay.
I'll get it.
You'll get it? Okay.
Yep.
I sit down to meditate.
Okay, so you guys are bedding down. Yeah, Jilliana, roll a perception check for me.
That is a 17.
Okay, yep. Watch passes without incident. So after 4 hours, do you wake up Cacophony?
But I mean, it's been so quiet these last 4 hours.
After 4 hours, I do get up from my meditative posture.
No, F-la be cursed.
And I bow gracefully to Jilliana.
Hi.
And I say, my dear, I will take over from here. Do get some rest.
Okay, but you know rest generally occurs when people don't make noise, right?
I am not planning on making noise while the rest of you sleep, my dear. Only when we're bedding down for the evening.
Yeah, okay, sure. What?
You were trying to figure out if that was a sex joke.
Yes, I was.
My dear, I am not so crass as that.
Yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sleep well, dear.
I'll try.
Okay. Cacophony, you're taking watch?
Yes, indeed.
Roll a perception check for me.
8.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I don't like that sound.
Let's just check a couple of things real quick.
She sounds happy.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I enjoy playing this game with you guys.
Oh, no. Why do we get the feeling that this campaign is going to be nothing but psychological warfare on the part of our dungeon master?
I mean, that's every campaign.
That is every campaign. It's true.
Yeah, but Kit in particular.
Wow. Mackenzie, you are very lucky.
Yes.
Because these guys are rolling like shit.
Good.
As you're carefully watching the camp, you hear a twig snap in the trees surrounding you. And
I turn my head, lift my hands, and like I'm turning on a light with the clapping noise, I go...
Okay. Does that actually do a spell, or are you just pretending like you're doing the clapper?
That will actually do a spell, if I can actually get to my spell page. One moment, please. Okay, I guess I'm not making it, because most of them I have to actually see somebody. But I do stand up and start looking for where the twig crack was.
Okay, you do spot 4 dudes in the trees surrounding you.
Oh, dear.
Okay, do they just... Are they just like human dudes? Are they elven dudes? Are they half-elf dudes?
They appear to be human dudes.
Okay. And are they in the
racist
fashion? Are they in fashion that one would typically call banditry?
I would say they're slightly better dressed than bandits. They're probably other adventurers, but they do appear to have noticed that you've seen them.
Okay, well, if they're other adventurers, they're in the trees. It doesn't necessarily mean they're about to attack us, though it's likely. Instead, I am going to attempt a little bit of diplomacy here.
Okay.
By which I mean I'm going to say, Hale, is there a reason you're creeping up on us exactly? And I say this loudly enough to wake my party members.
Okay. Everybody else, you are awake.
Actually, yes, being the woodsman that I am, I've been lying still ever since the twig broke.
Sky.
Okay, I'm on my feet.
I thought we were being quiet.
Juliana's still waking up. It's fine.
I hear that. Yeah.
God,
and
Juliana waking up as well.
And I'm poised to draw an arrow to knock on my bow.
What time is it? I'm slowly sitting up, like, what's...
We've got visitors, Juliana. That's why you're awake early.
Great. What? She's just sort of blearily looking around. What?
And I'm wondering to myself, how did this person ever survive this long?
So as Juliana's waking up...
Out loud?
Come on, woman,
Yes,
get a move on.
What? God,
Danger, Will Robinson.
What?
Oh. Sorry, wrong scenario. Oops.
We're not in space yet.
So, one of the dudes steps forward. He's slightly better dressed than the others. You're guessing he's probably the leader. He's got sort of a very well-trimmed Van Dyke beard and a waxed mustache.
Ooh, I love this man. Out of character, I love him.
Okay. In character, you might not shortly.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
So he steps forward and is like, well, hello.
Hello.
Oh, what fresh hell is this?
I don't suppose any of you have seen a fallen star around here anywhere.
I would say that is not something we have seen.
Roll a deception check.
You got it. At least that's what I'm good at. 27.
Oh my god, you critted.
That's a nat 20.
Shit!
I like how Cacophony either rolls like garbage or rolls really well and there's no in between.
What can I say?
Okay, he seems a little confused when he looks at you. He's like, well, we are of the opinion that there's a lot of money to be had if we can manage to scavenge something like that. I don't suppose you would be interested in that sort of thing.
Are you implying that you would like some help, sir? Because we do have a healer among us. I don't know if you do.
Oh no, we're fine on that front, but let's say we team up to find the thing, split it 80-20, 20 your way.
Well, you see, there's a thing that we're actually doing out here, searching for a white heart. But I suppose if you could make it more, say, 60-40, that could be that could be something we could do. I imagine something like that might be a little bit more lucrative than finding a white heart.
A white heart.
Alana,
Really?
by the way.
Yeah, where's Alana?
Alana, by the way, is up. She's listening to this, and she's just slowly shaking her head at you.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm looking towards Alana and sort of say, what the
Y'all
can
are
swear on
bad
this
at
show, it's fun.
subterfuge. Y'all gotta get better at this deception thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're looking for a white heart. They'll make us kings and queens of...
Roll a deception check.
That is the legend. That is the legend, Juliana. Thank you.
14.
Don't mind her. She just woke up.
Well, he rolled a 4, so he fell for it.
Yes!
At this point, Juliana is like in her like iron clothes. She's kind of like reaching around, patting the ground, looking for like her warhammer or something, or maybe a book. It's very early.
Yeah, you notice several of the henchmen, so to speak, watching you carefully to see where that hand is going. The guy looks at you and goes, 70-30.
70-30, or we can go try and find a white stag that is said to be in these woods so that we can become queens and kings over our own kingdom and have a ton of money. I think we might go our separate ways, good sir.
Right. In that case, we'll be taking your money.
In that case, you shall die! Okay,
Okay, I bucked my bow.
Okay, everybody roll an
Thank you, Alviva. Speaking of shitty rolls, 6.
Oh god, you rolled a 1?
Yes.
Yikes.
Okay.
I rolled a 21.
Alviva, what did you roll?
16.
Okay, so whereabouts were you guys on the map?
Where would I have been sitting? I would probably be kind of lingering towards the side so I could watch everything, and then I stepped forward to talk to whoever the leader was.
Okay.
I'm in the bedroll furthest from Cacophony.
Cool. So, top of the order is Jilliana. It's not spiders this time. You're welcome.
Well, that's a lovely change of pace. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. Does everybody here have bows? Like all of our bandits, or do they have melee stuff out?
They're currently armed with crossbows, but they are carrying scimitars.
Okay, cool. I am trusting that Alana has that loud noise-making crossbow. Then I'm assuming that she can probably handle herself okay. So I am going to attack the bandit up here.
Okay.
And I'm going to attack them with my warhammer.
Because that's gone so well in the past. Have at her.
It did that one time. And that is an 18.
18 will hit. Roll damage.
9.
Okay, 9 bludgeoning damage?
Yep.
Okay, that's a hell of a hit. Like he takes that thing right to the chest. He stumbles back a little bit. He's not down, but he is heavily wounded.
Yeah, Juliana has basically her hand was sort of feeling for whatever, and as soon as Cacophony is like, "You will die," she just like, "All right," and just picks the warhammer and just sort of like in one motion, just sort of staggers across the lawn and just smacks the dude.
Excellent.
It is too early for this.
Okay, is that your turn?
Yes.
Okay, Alviva, you're up next, and you have advantage on any attack, on an attack against anyone who hasn't acted yet, which is all of them.
Okay, so I've got my bow pierced, and I roll with an advantage.
If you're using your bow, yes. You do also have your 2 short swords, and you get 2 attacks with those.
Yeah, but I've already got it knocked to the bow.
Ooh.
So it's the guy right in front of you?
Yep, they're right in front of me, but that's facing me. Yep, and I'm shoot it off there, and 7 piercing.
Yeah, that you rolled an 18, so that's gonna hit. So 7 piercing damage, which is a lot. He's pretty heavily wounded.
He's standing right in front of me, so
Yeah.
Okay, now what?
Okay.
Can I shoot him again?
You can't, unfortunately. If you had used your swords, you would have gotten 2 attacks, but the bow is just 1 attack because you need 2 hands to use it. You
tell me.
You have a spell.
Bloodthirsty. I love it.
Okay, but he's down, right? Like he's hurt.
He's heavily wounded. Yeah, he's not down quite yet, but he's pretty wounded. And
he's the boss guy.
Yes, he is the boss guy.
So I just injured their chief. Yay me! Yay me!
So you do have your movement if you want to get up close, or you can stay where you are, or you can move back.
Well, is he like down on one knee kind of thing? He's so hurt?
No, he looks like he's fully prepared to attack when his turn comes around.
Oh, well then I guess I will keep my distance.
You can move a little further away towards the other side of the camp. 15 feet to the left would do. Up next is Alana. Let's see, who's closest and who's pissing her off the most? Probably this guy right behind her. So she's going to pull out the nasty boom crossbow thing. Fires that off at him. That's a 22. That'll hit.
Yeah, I would imagine.
That's 10, which, oof, he's not quite dead, but he's very close to it.
Oh, man.
Who did she go after?
The guy right behind her.
The one on the upper right.
You know, we should probably try to, keep these guys, at least give them the option to run away.
If they beg for their lives.
If anyone wants to roll an intimidation check on their turn, we can see how that goes.
Ooh.
I'm pretty good at intimidation.
Okay, up next is the leader.
We'll see how well he does first.
Actually, not up next is the leader.
Now, see, strategically, I would have thought that we would all go after the leader, but hey, that's just me, and I've been living in a wilderness eating nuts and berries, so what do I know?
It's all based on the
Everybody
numbers.
knows you pick off the ads before you take on the main boss.
Okay, so Alviva, directly in front of you, you notice that someone else has been hiding in the bushes this whole time.
Really? So, hello.
He's an elf. He appears to be a spellcaster of some kind.
Uh-oh, that's not good. I know elves. They're that good.
Oh, and he said they were covered on the healing front.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I speak Elvish, so if that helps any.
We also have an elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, look what I just noticed.
And you notice because he is currently casting a spell.
Uh-oh.
Which is going to be Sacred Flame on Alviva. So if you could roll a dexterity saving throw.
Luckily, you're probably okay at dexterity.
23.
23.
Nice.
That's good, isn't it?
Good. You managed to dodge as a pillar of light comes streaming down from the sky and you take no damage.
That's because I'm so agile.
So after that is the leader. And between Cacophony and the woman who just shot him real bad, he's going to go for Alviva as well. And yeah, that's going to be the longbow.
Uh-oh.
That's a 9. That's not going to hit.
Of course not.
He does get 2 longbow attacks, though.
How come he gets 2 and I didn't?
He's higher level than you. That one's a 17. That does hit.
But I have adamantine breastplate.
Yeah, that protects you from critical hits. You do take 6 piercing damage, which is not a huge hit. You take it to the shoulder, and it hurts, but you're not down. You're fine.
Okay. Is it sticking out of me?
It is kind of sticking out of you.
Okay.
And with that, he's going to move up to Cacophony.
Okay.
Cacophony, it is finally your turn.
Saves me from walking towards him because I'm going to casually draw my rapier, which I should note somehow in the middle of the night from somewhere.
Oh my God.
I put on some bright red fantasy jodhpurs with some knee-high shining black boots, and I'm wearing a rainbow-studded vest with fringe that is somehow staying perfectly in place because I'm not wearing anything else with it.
You sound like one of the Osmonds.
I basically am an Osmond right now.
Oh,
so this is just a change that occurs at midnight then.
Maybe.
With the full moon.
Maybe it's anytime I disappear. So I'm standing there in my Osmond wear with the fringe kind of shaking in the wind.
If
and
you
I
beat
draw
this
my
roll,
blade.
I'm gonna laugh.
I draw my blade, and I'm going to check if I beef this roll before I describe what happens. 18?
That'll hit.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Damage.
And I drain my goal, and then I dramatically thrust forward into like the little notch in his armor right below his armpit, so it just goes into his armpit.
Yeah, that's a good hit. He's bleeding quite heavily. He's not quite down yet, though.
Oh, for crying out loud.
He's tough. He's beefy. He's a beefy boy.
He is the leader.
And then, as I do that, I draw my blade out, and I fling my hand sideways, and I call across the way to Elviva, and I go, "Dear, a little bit of help your way." And I'm going to cast Healing Word.
Okay. So roll the 1d4.
Or 1d4. And this is plus my save, so plus 5, so that's 9 health your way, Elviva.
Okay, you have recovered from all the damage that you sustained.
Wow. Well, thank you, Cacophony.
Absolutely, my dear.
So, is that your turn? You want to move?
Yep. That is my turn. I'm staying in his face.
Okay.
I will 5-foot step, I guess, sideways to be directly in his face.
Okay. You're still in his attack radius. That does not provoke an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
Up
and
next,
my hair swirls around me like a Tresemme commercial.
Of course it does. So up next is the other 4 guys, the henchmen. The one that just got shot to hell by Alana is going to attack her. That's a 15. Her AC is 15. That hits. So she takes 9 piercing damage, which hurts, but she appears to be tanking that pretty well. Giuliana, the one in front of you, is also going to attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 21 against your AC. That'll probably hit.
Yes.
17? Okay.
Wrath of the Storm.
Okay, you take 4 slashing damage to start, and then you're going to use your Wrath of the Storm reaction?
Yeah, which this is the first time I've used it on recording. So this is something I get as being a Tempest Cleric. He has to make, if he attacks me, he has to make a dexterity saving throw as a reaction to him attacking me.
This is what he gets for waking you up.
He rolls a 17.
And what is that going to go against? I can't remember.
Your spell save DC.
It's 14. Okay. So he doesn't take as much damage, but since he succeeded on a saving throw, he now takes basically half of 2d8, and I'm going to choose lightning damage.
Okay, roll it.
Ah, man. Okay, so he takes 3 lightning damage.
You know what? That'll do it. He's dead. So everybody, you guys watch as this guy takes a swing at Giuliana with his scimitar, manages to damage her fairly well, and then there's this tremendously loud crack as a burst of lightning comes out of her armor, hits this guy, and basically disintegrates him.
Oh, cool.
Giuliana, my dear, that was amazing.
It is too early!
Okay. So that leaves the other 2, or the other 1, actually. The last one is going to walk up to Cacophony.
Hello, darling.
And also attack with a scimitar. That is a 9. I'm guessing that's not going to hit.
That misses, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're fine.
So I expertly, lean backward like a limbo dancer. And straighten up again.
I hope you do a little shimmy with your shoulders.
I absolutely do. And yet somehow the vest remains perfectly in place.
But the fringe definitely rattles.
Oh, the fringe definitely rattles.
Is it beaded fringe?
It is absolutely beaded fringe.
Wonderful.
It matches my pants.
How terrible. I love it.
Okay, top of the order, it is Giuliana's turn.
Giuliana is going to... One moment, let me double check my spell cards here. Okay, I'm going to do a thing.
Oh, I love it. A thing. I love it when she does a thing.
I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy.
Okay, which effect are you selecting?
I am choosing the effect of my voice booming up to 3 times loud as normal for 1 minute. And I am going to do an intimidation roll, and I would like to request advantage on that, since I just disintegrated a dude with lightning.
I will say, yeah, you get advantage.
Yeah, go Giuliana.
Okay, so that's a 13. So
Okay.
let's just try to play this out.
Okay, in your booming voice, what do you yell?
You attack us in the middle of the night go after some star. After we decide that we're not going to even help you, you decide to take our gold. You have no honor. You have no faith. You have a cleric who is not even walking in any sort of light and yet tries to attack my people with holy radiance. Put down your weapons. We have no time for you. Leave us.
Okay.
Well, they all rolled below a 13, so yeah. They turn and they run. They run away. JEMJAMMER is performed by Kit Walker, Annie Creighton, Mackenzie Weaver, and Vicky Sharon, and edited by Jake Mason. Our character art was concepted and illustrated by Rio, who can be found at vriosart.tumblr.com. Our cover art was illustrated by Canary Witch, who can be found at doodlesfromthebird.tumblr.com. Our opening and closing music was composed by Reckoning Storm AudioWorks. You can find us on Tumblr at crookedrussiancam.tumblr.com and on Twitter at JemJamCast. If you enjoy JemJammer and want to support both this show and other projects, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thejemjam.
Which is a... God, excuse me, one sec. Tesla, holy shit! Everything is fine. You are alive, you're healthy, you're well, you are not dying. A door is closed, it will be okay.
Jake, if you can keep that, that would be great.